This week on Robot Wars, Seeded 11, Arctic. Newcomers, Ramsey. Veterans, Wheelie Big Cheese. Beckatron. Adriel 3, and the 6th seeds, Tombstone. Welcome to Robot Wars, and as the smoke settles and the house robots prepare to fight, we can reflect on the previous heat. Right from the word go, it stunned us all. It stunned the house robots. Never mind its victims. First, Onslaught fell, then the seeded machine and the experience of BattleBots with one amazingly timed flip led them out. And then, despite being the favourites, Storm 3 was blown out of the arena. This was impressive. Look out for Bot from the Blue in the semi-finals. But for Storm 3, the story doesn't end there, as it now joins Axor in the 6 Robot Rumble Redemption rounds in the semi-finals later in the series. But for now, let's introduce ranked number 6 for the 8th Wars last year. Tombstone didn't disappoint. What can we see from the disc for this heat? As ever, not only will Tombstone be up against 5 other machines, it'll also have to contend with the arena hazards, the floor flipper, the spikes, the flames and the pit of oblivion, not forgetting those dastardly irritants of the arena, the house robots.
Fog of War.
And if that wasn't enough, we've got the Fog of War for you. Try seeing your way through that. Housekeeping done. Now let's introduce the robots for Heat 3. We have Ramsey, newcomers, against Beckatron. We've seen them before in the wars, and of course, the semi-finalist from the last war returned, Tombstone.
Tombstone, bar spinner, seeded number 6.
One of the most deadliest spinners we've ever seen in the wars. Tombstone made its impression in the last war. It got through to the semi-finals. The robot actually originates from across the pond, but we welcome them in the arena with open arms, because in the last war, they didn't disappoint. This was their performance in the last war. They actually lost their opening match against Radar Response. Not only did they destroy robots in the arena, they destroyed our own wall. They survived the redemption battle and then were pitted against APD3. Nothing was left really of that machine. And then Adriel 3 in the heat final. This was the power of Tombstone in the last wars. They even defeated BattleBot and Disco Inferno in the semi-finals. Only Thor stopped this machine last year, so high expectations for Tombstone.
Beckatron, lifter.
Now fighting in its 3rd series, Beckatron have been unfortunate to be on the end of some rather devastating blows from some spinners in the past. However, they are now fairly experienced, so they should survive this first round melee.
Ramsey, lifter.
Brand new to the arena, this is Ramsey's first campaign in the series. We were hugely impressed with it in the qualifiers. I really do hope it comes into play, because even if Ramsey does get flipped, it is able to self-right. But for Ramsey's sake, let's hope they don't have to use it.
Robot,
because not only are they fighting each other, they'll be also against the deadly looking Dead Metal.
3, 2, 1, action.
So all eyes on the number 6 seeds Tombstone as it comes in with that devastating flywheel. It's more like a bar spinner really. And of course Ramsey did very well to qualify for this series, and I think already Tombstone here has done more telling damage. It's just ripped off the lifter of Beckatron. That was the first impact that we saw. Okay, Beckatron is flimsy, and they are once again against such a deadly weapon. They lost to Witch Doctor in the last series, but look at little Ramsey here on Tombstone as the armour comes flying off, and those forks on the lifting arm of Ramsey can get right into there. Look at this, the seeded machine in all sorts of trouble, dumped on towards the spike pit. Now this has happened to Tombstone in the past. They've landed on the backs like this and have not been able to self-right. So at the moment we're in for a major shock here, unless somehow, I don't know, Tombstone can get himself away from the spike pits, but they've raised the spikes, now come down, so they are free. Well, I thought that might be the case. Unfortunate for Ramsey, they just didn't quite place them. They didn't quite place them correctly. Oh, Tombstone sort of whacked itself into the wall. I bet that hurts. It wasn't intentional, and in doing so has just decided to destroy its own armour. But look at this already now. Tombstone exacting revenge and trying to find a way through and send its competitors into an early grave. But at the moment, I'm very impressed with Ramsey. Beckatron, what a shame! And another whack from Tombstone, and that means Ramsey looks to be like it's going through. Beckatron, not so much. This was the impact. Look at the second part of the lifter. Look at this from Tombstone. Okay, they had a bit of a wobble, but now seem to be well in control here. And poor Beckatron has once again been up against a devastating spinner here for its third consecutive year. Look at Ramsey. I am impressed with Ramsey. As the flames look on, Refbot certainly looking on, and that's the end of Ramsey. They don't even get through the opening round this time. That is a shame. That's quite a surprise, that. I thought Beckatron could have at least survived the opening melee. It's now food for the house robots, but watch out for Ramsey, and of course, well, Tombstone here. And as you can see, oh, the drop zone's completely shattered. Poor Beckatron. Oh, that was beautiful. Ramsey now, it needs to get itself away. Now, cease hasn't been called because, as you all know, the fight continues because there has to be one clear winner in each melee to determine which position they go into round 2. And do you know what? I think Ramsey here are on top. I really do. I think they've absolutely overwhelmed the seeded machine. Tombstone. Is Refbot going to count out? It looks like it. What a famous victory here for Ramsey. They've defeated Tombstone. Even though Tombstone will be going through safely, only just, as dead metal comes in on the wheels of Tombstone. Now Tombstone's got to be very careful not to sustain any damage from the house robots here, because of course they are through. It means that they're going to have to repair the robots. They've sustained tremendous damage here. The armor's come off, and Ramsey, I'm speechless. What a performance. But let's just have a look at this impact from the drop zone. Delicious. Out go Beckatron, flying out the arena and out of the competition. Well, that was impressive. Ramsey win the first melee, which means Tombstone could be against the seeded machine Arctic here. It's all to play for in this, the second melee.
Arctic, lifter, seeded number 11.
Hell freezes over as Arctic returns to the arena. A lot of hope now rests on this veteran machine. It's never lost a first round fight of any appearances it's been in, and this was its run last year. The cold spell certainly dominated for much of the heat Arctic featured in last war. And what's frustrating about Arctic's run in the last series is that they did so well that they could have done so much more. Unfortunately, in the heat final, of all the robots to be up against, they were pitted against their arch nemesis, Revolutionist. And their run ended in the redemption fight in dramatic style.
Adriel 3, Thwackbot.
The third incarnation of Adriel, once a series semi-finalist, they've never failed to reach the heat final on its 2 previous appearances in the wars. The only problem here? Control, but it's great to see.
Wheelie Big Cheese, Flipper.
Not your average block of cheese. Wheelie Big Cheese returns. Long overdue, I have to say. It's taken great robots to beat this machine, like Chaos 2 and Disco Inferno in the past. Once reached a series semi-final, so high hopes for this cheese.
Robot Ian, stand by.
Goodness me, this is going to be a good fight. I can sense it. Arctic, seeded 11.
3, 2, 1.
Can it survive the wedge of cheese? And of course, Adriel 3, who once again returns to the arena as out of control as ever. We hope and love to see it. It once actually launched itself out of the arena. It's been that out of control in the past, and already we can see the power of Wheelie Big Cheese's flipper as Arctic gets tossed across the arena. This is some power, and again, this is our Adriel. I see that even though Adriel is out of control, it's invertible, of course. This is hugely impressive from Wheelie Big Cheese. We know this robot is capable of greatness. Arctic too. In fact, all 3 robots are very much experienced in the arena. It's going to be very tough, I think. Who can survive this? Adriel 3 now coming in. And another flip against the arena barrier. Goodness me, look at this. It nearly went out. Look at the height. Bashed into the Perspex barrier. You know, if that wasn't there, I think Adriel would have gone out. That would have been a flip. That was one of the biggest flips we would have ever seen in the wars. Arctic now, I think, just about second place, I think. Wheelie Big Cheese certainly in control here. Adriel 3 needs to do some sort of, well, he needs to come back because Arctic here, even though looks to be in trouble, well, I thought Arctic was looking okay at the moment. Wheelie Big Cheese certainly is. Adriel now trying to get the flip in. And look, I think Arctic is now stuck. Look at the flip here from Wheelie Big Cheese, and in doing so, Arctic are the wrong way against the arena wall in order to self-right. Their lifting arm, designed last series to help them out in this sort of situation, hasn't helped. It's landed. Look at this. Look, they can't get themselves. Goodness me, and Adriel's had an insult to injury. Wheelie Big Cheese, what a flip that was. Out go the number 11 seeds with the flip there for Wheelie Big Cheese. And Wheelie Big Cheese now has caused damage to itself. In doing so, it's flipped itself over. The flippers, well, it's open. It means it can't self-right. Does this mean that Adriel 3 here are going to come out on top? What an unpredictable first round melee we have had. Out goes Wheelie Big Cheese. Well, they're not out, even though they were the most impressive robots. The seeded machine has gone out and Adriel comes out on top. I couldn't have written that. I'm absolutely, I can't believe it. Wheelie Big Cheese here are going to be against, well, they're going to be against Ramsey, I think. The flip now, they're now righted. Oh, but Arctic, they've never lost that early on in the tournament. This was the flip. Arctic over. Then they couldn't self-right, even though Wheelie Big Cheese was doing all the work. And they're out. Game over. I can't believe it. I've never seen Arctic perform so badly. They were against one mean machine, the Wheelie Big Cheese, and because Adriel 3 won that, they're going to be against Tombstone, who came second. Grudge match there, but now our judges have to decide which robot they want to come back for the pinball. Is it going to be Beckatron or Arctic? Well, neither robots deserve to go out so early on, but the judges have decided on Arctic. And I agree to some degree there, because let's face it, we didn't see them perform. Well, can Arctic somehow redeem themselves here? They need to beat 120 points, which was set by Trax. Of course, points dotted around the arena in towards dead metal, which of course is not helping matters, but they need to get that silver. So now... No, that's where you ended up, in the melee, Arctic. Don't place the ball there. Goodness me. Well, they're doing well with the bricks. And if they get up there with the ramp, that's another 50 points. That's great to see. Arctic now coming back in. They really want to make an impression here. Oh, what a shame, Arctic. We're so still reeling from your performance in the melee. We can't believe we've lost you so early. However, the multi-ball release has gone towards the barrels there. There'll be 5 points for each barrel. And, of course, the cone's knocked over. Yes, that's great to see. Get that big metal box across the arena. That'll be more points. They're sort of lost a bit here now, Arctic. They're wondering what to do here. They've not really come in with a game plan. Sort of echoes their entire performance in the series, really. Oh dear, it started well. Has it got them enough points to top the leaderboard? Well, the highlights here, they were trying to get the ball down the pit, but in doing so, the bricks did fall. More bricks tumbled into the pits. This is all good stuff initially. Then the 50-point target on the bridge, followed by the multi-ball release. That's 10 points. If any of those balls did manage to get down the pit, that's 5 extra points. And of course the barrels. And then the flip, which didn't work. Arctic, however, end on 220 points. Now that's quite surprising. I thought they were quite lost for much of that. At least Arctic now have something to defend, because we're not going to be seeing them again. But we get back to business. Oh goodness me, well anything can happen now. I really do not know who to put my money on. Ramsey is against Wheelie Big Cheese next in the arena. Ramsey hugely impressive. Both machines impressive here. Of course, Wheelie Big Cheese self-destructing for it to come second place here.
Roboties, stand by.
He'll torment you in your nightmares. Sir Killalot enters. And once more. Let's have more from Dead Metal.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Now Ramsey are prepared for a flipper, and I'm sure at some point we're going to be seeing Extreme Mech in action. Who knows? But at the moment it's just amazing to see this little machine here trying to get in, and oh goodness me, Wheelie Big Cheese have got a bit tangled up there and towards the floor flip, and they've gone right through the floor. They've gone right through the floor. What on earth? Cease has to be called. Oh, it is. That's not really what the flipper's supposed to do. So I'm having a word here. It looks like we're going to have a rematch, essentially. Okay, so the story so far, Ramsey on top at the moment, before the floor fought back. Wheelie Big Cheese on the end of it and fell through.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
So Ramsey on top at the moment before the floor flipper intervened and has now been fixed. So Wheelie Big Cheese now coming in with the almighty flipper. Now Ramsey's ground clearance seems to be the lowest at the front, but not at the side. Oh, and the pounding from Wheelie Big Cheese. Now we can see Ramsey's self-righting. Look at this. Look at that. It just goes up and over like a pirouette. What a fantastic way to self-right. And the way it does it, it's brilliant, but not as good as that flip we've just seen from the Big Cheese here already. Well, unless Ramsey can get itself away from there. It's not got its lifter now. It's just come off, basically, from the impact of Wheelie Big Cheese on towards the flame pit and now Dead Metal. Oh, goodness me, talk about having everything happen to you at once here. Dead Metal now cannot attack Ramsey. It's just out of the corner patrol zone. In goes Wheelie Big Cheese. Is the inevitable about to happen? No. Still Ramsey comes in. It's been on its back for too long. This is a shame. Oh, goodness me. Wheelie Big Cheese through to another heat final. We've enjoyed Ramsey, though, in the arena. It's been such a pleasure to have fresh blood and something unique that we've never seen before. We got to see the self-righting arm work before Wheelie Big Cheese did the damage, and Sir Killalot now is about to do even more damage. You big bully, leave Ramsey alone. Killalot does not deserve this. has had a really good campaign here, and although it's only been round 2, Ramsey has potential here. Just a few modifications and they could be on their way to becoming a very big threat in the arena. But for now, the floor flipper working this time, floating across the arena. Now Wheelie Big Cheese nearly flipped Kilolots. Kilolot's never been flipped before. That would have been a first. Oh, this heat's been all over the place. Look at this. Wheelie Big Cheese attacking Kilolot. They can lift Kilolots. We love when the house robots are under attack by the competitors. Wheelie Big Cheese. In the past, we've known them to take on the house robots. They've thrown quite a few around the arena in the past, but can't quite lift the big daddy of them all. And now Dead Metal comes in for revenge. You should be looking towards the heat final here. Wheelie Big Cheese not attacking the house. Any damage sustained in this fight is just unnecessary. But look at this spin from Kilolot, and off goes the wheels. Oh, poor Ramsey. Kilolot dumps them out. What a fight.
Cease.
And the cease is called. Wheelie Big Cheese through. Ramsey eliminated. Next, who is going to join the Cheese? Adriel 3 or Tombstone? A rematch from the last war. And it came in the heat final here now. And Adriel, of course, was the seeded machine. Tombstone was the outsider. But after a couple of nasty blows, it was all over for poor Adriel as Tombstone sunk Adriel into an early grave. Out went Adriel, self-destructing, and through went Tombstone. Can Adriel somehow get through this mean machine on patrol? He's doing overtime. Never seen so much of him. It's Dead Metal and Sir Kilolot.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
On paper, Tombstone should really win this, but with the unpredictability of the heat, anything could happen to experienced robots here. Tombstone very reliable. We've not really seen the disc struggle to get up to speed. Adriel a little bit less reliable, I think. I think it all comes to driving really. I mean, look at that slam bang into the arena wall. That's not help. Has that in any way knocked Adriel out? That was a one whack into the arena wall. Not really there to do that, Adriel, is it? Let's face it. As they come in now on towards the flame pit, they're going to have to get themselves away from trouble here. Adriel now sort of trying to catch up with Tombstone. Tombstone's disc now spinning up to speed. Oh, that's back control there from Tombstone. And another slam, and has done major damage to the top. We've seen that before. That's the tactic from Adriel to get the armour and try and destroy it as the rogue robots comes into play. This will activate a house robot for 10 seconds now then. You have to be very careful. The rogue robot notorious for absolute carnage and decimation of the robot in question, and at the moment it is Adriel 3 who is suffering here, being hung out to dry by our Knight of the Realm. Now, 10 seconds is up, so Kilolot will have to dump Adriel at some point. Oh, I think Kilolot's done more telling damage to the thwack bit of the bots. I'm not too sure. Kilolot looking on. Tombstone now coming in for the kill. As it comes in, Adriel in all sorts of trouble, and off goes the thwack. That's it. Kilolot did the damage, and it's now wobbling. It's wobbling all over the place. Tombstone now. It's on those tyres, and I suppose this sort of absorbed the shock and the damage that Tombstone can potentially do here because of those wheels. They're so big, they're so sturdy. There's not a lot Tombstone can get hold of here, but they've just they've hit the wall again. Tombstone, they should have more experience than this. You're in the top 6 robots here now fighting, and at the moment they are living up to their reputation because look at this wobble. Oh, Adriel, so unpredictable. It's great to see because we just don't know what it's going to do next. Well, Adriel, you don't want to stay there for too long. The pit's descending, and Adriel are right on it, and in they go. Fantastic from Tombstone. So gracious. Yes, Adriel, always one that stuns us, shocks us, It's just full of surprises, but in the end, that needs to be controlled for the next series if they decide to return. Tombstone will meet Really Big Cheese. What a heat final this is going to be. Two very experienced robots, and they've both before reached the semi-final stage. Well, it's a meeting of the disc against the flipper. Two very interesting and different incarnations of both weapons. Tombstone will start as the favourite. They are the 6th seed with that destructive blade. Can they get through to its second consecutive semi-finals? But on the other side of the arena lies Really Big Cheese, forever present throughout the history of Robot Wars, with one of the biggest flippers to ever grace the arena. The only weakness for me are the exposed wheels. Its only real disappointment came in the second Wars, where they lost to Chaos 2 in the second round. For me, Really Big Cheese, very underrated machine here as it fights against Tombstone. Going to be a good final, this. Patrolling once more is Dead Metal. And she's back in the arena. It's Matilda.
Roboties, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Throw around all the stats you like. When it comes down to just plain fighting head to head, anything can happen in the arena. Yes, both machines are experienced. Both have made it to a semi-final. And in the moment, we can see that Really Big Cheese has found that initial ground clearance at the front there underneath the bar spinner of Tombstone. Now Tombstone can get round the back, which it is doing. Clever tactics here from the 6th seed already. Now Really Big Cheese, though, coming back on towards the spike pit goes Tombstone. As you can see, it's struggling. Look at that. How many robots have the courage to do that to Tombstone? And another flip. Has this in any way caused damage to Tombstone? It doesn't look like it. Very sturdy, very well-built robots. Really Big Cheese again finding that ground clearance. Another flip. Do you know you don't have to... The size of this flip from Really Big Cheese throws Tombstone against the arena in towards. Now I was hoping, I think, for the pit. It's not. You don't even need to be against the arena wall anymore to flip the machine out. We've seen Really Big Cheese flip so high, so powerful in the past, and it's doing it again. Can they see through the dense fog that's surrounded and encased the arena? They can just about. You're not going to get a bit of fog to intercept and cloud these two robots' vision, because they are both experienced machines. Until that point, Tombstone's balanced on the edge of oblivion. It's on the edge of defeat. I have never seen that before. What a timely flip from Really Big Cheese. I cannot believe the position it's just got itself on. It's that's brilliant. That is the best flip I've ever seen. That's timed so well, but Tombstone's technically not out. It's overlooking oblivion. It's about to face its fear and be buried 6 feet under. Oh my goodness gracious. That was special. I cannot believe what we have just seen from Really Big Cheese. This, I suppose, the flip would have got Tombstone out the arena anyway. It was the way it balanced between the perspex sheet and the screen there. Look at that! And because the wheels were technically still on the ground to some degree on the arena's perspex barrier, Tombstone potentially could have got back in. I don't know if they couldn't. They could only go maybe forwards. This was just brilliant. Tombstone balancing for dear life before going. That's it. Bye. Tombstone out and go through to the 6th Robot Rumble. The 6th seed eliminated in the heat final. This is shaping up to be one heck of a redemption battle. But for now, Tombstone, face your fears. Get buried. The Cheese has it this week. Really Big Cheese through to another series semi-final. Next time, Axe's attack with the return of grand finalists for the second.